What's going on, loved ones? Grace and peace. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of the Lunch and Munch Meetup, the most dangerous virtual lunchroom on the planet. Listen, we just happy to be here. You already know we do this every single Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And look, we here to serve you, right? Because this is what we believe at the Lunch and Munch, that you can't build anything bigger than you build you. So we're giving you the tools, we're giving you the tips, we're bringing in special guests that specialize in areas that are going to help you build the best you possible so you can have a firm foundation to build your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations, everything that you're trying to achieve on. You know what I'm saying? So thank you so much for tapping in. We truly appreciate you. We got another amazing episode for you today. As you know, we are currently in our vision from vision to visibility series, from vision to visibility. So if you tapped in, if you go to our Instagram page, we had a special guest our brother D1 Gibson, and he broke down the big vision into small, intricate steps, and he gave us the very important questions that we ought to ask ourselves as we're preparing to move forward in our vision to get it visible, right? And then the last week we actually talked about the importance of community and how, and if you're going to build out a vision and really be able to stay the course, you need people who are going to hold you accountable. You need people that you could also hold accountable, that you build a community of people who are strong, maybe in areas that you're weak, and you can help. And if you're strong where they're weak, you can help them out. So it becomes a mutually beneficial, advantageous community that you can build together. Because look, you're gonna need other people who are also doing what it is that you're doing as far as building out a vision, so who can kind of help you navigate through certain areas that you may not see moving forward, but also you can help others navigate it as well. So today's show, we're going to be talking about counting the cost. Counting the cost. And look, whether we know it or not, or whether you've acknowledged it or not, right? Our vision is going to cost us. It's going to cost us something. It's going to cost us money. It's going to cost us relationships. It's going to cost us resources like time, energy. It's going to cost us a whole lot. And so, what we have to also make sure that we don't lose reality, or lose the fact that, listen, in order for us to be able to really build our vision out to visibility, it's going to cost us something. So I'm about to bring in my bro Wayne, the other half of the Lunch and Munch meetup, and we're going to get into this conversation. You know what I'm saying? So let's go get it. Wayne, what's good, my bro?
What's going on, lunchers?
Yes, sir. We tapped into the most dangerous virtual lunchroom on the planet, the Lunch and Munch
Yep,
meetup.
yep.
You already know what we doing out here, man. And so, bro, this particular series from vision to visibility has been so strong because I
Yep,
think, and I love the way that we have been led to break this thing out, because oftentimes we get a big vision, right? But it often
yep,
just stays there because we don't
yep.
do the necessary steps or break it down into smaller micro steps, right? Like we talked about
Right.
in the first episode, or the episode with D1. And it's also important for us to realize that no man, or no woman for that matter, is an island. So we need other people to help us build out this vision, because they can see our blind spots, right? And we can also see
Yeah,
others blind spots. So we talked about that's kind of how our relationship works, right? And those that we're around, we're always leveling, challenging each other to level up, right? So this
right.
episode, man, I think is very, very important. And you, as we talked about earlier, to talk about the cost that it's going to take to build out a vision. So as we know, so we started the series because you let us know in the very first episode that you're starting a hospice non for profit slash ministry, right? And
Yeah,
and you told us about the inspiration behind it, and you told us about your goal and what it is that you're trying to accomplish with it, right? And so
right.
what we haven't talked about yet is what is it going to cost you, right? What is it going to cost you to actually begin the process of bringing this thing into visibility, right? And because
Yeah,
because I think it's very important for us to really delve into that. So, bro, so when you think about counting the cost and how it relates to what you're doing, talk
yeah.
about so far what it has cost you, and as you have been kind of continuing to work and do your research, what is it going to cost you?
So, as you guys know, I'm actually gonna hire a company that's gonna help build the nonprofit for me. So, like we discussed last week, is you know what your areas of opportunities are, and you know what your strong areas are.
Yep.
So I'm not a big fan of doing a bunch of paperwork and going through fine tuning. You need this, you got to have this. So there's a company that specializes in building nonprofits for you.
Mm.
That cost is going to be over $1,000. That
Okay.
cost is going to be over $1,000. So that's the initial cost, upfront cost that I'm gonna come out of pocket is over $1,000 for their services. And I say over $1,000 because it's certain tiers of packages.
Okay.
So that bottom tier, it starts at $1,000. So I'm just kind of giving you guys from scale where what's gonna cost out of pocket. And then we got to talk about drive time, you know, transportation going back and forth to hospice facilities. And right now I'm just sticking to Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
because I know I can go as far as out 3 hours, three or
Okay.
4 hours, and still be in. So we're looking at transportation, so that's gas and mileage. Fortunately, because I'm still on a 9 to 5, I
Mm.
have a company vehicle that pays for gas.
Yeah.
So I'll be good. I'll be good, but I'm still going to factor that in, because once I leave the 9 to 5, that transportation will be going coming out the nonprofit. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at gas. Also, one of the resources I want to leave with, um, those that I go visit. You know how they have like the daily bread pamphlets.
Yeah.
So I want to collaborate with a organization or a company. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to collaborate with a company or organization that, maybe be like a small business that gives out pamphlets
Mm-hmm.
or sends out letterheads, and we create something special just for them. So I'm
Dope.
willing, and when I say collaborate, I'm not talking for free. I'm paying for, what you do, but you package it up as us as a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
So those are the main costs right now. I know I want to give out swag bags when I'm there. I want to give swag bags that
Okay.
are beneficial to them. I'm not 100% sure what that looks like, and also, um, I want to do food. I'm not. I'm still doing my research because I know, there are only certain things that they'll be able to eat.
Yeah.
So that's still up in the air. I might just do with the swag bag. I might just do like snacks.
Dope. Okay.
So, we're looking at food, transportation, the initial startup cost to have them build it out, and that's as far as I've gotten, up until this point.
Got you. Got you. Well, you want to say something else?
Yeah, and so you guys want to know how I'm gonna get that money. Well, I'm not gonna ask for donations out the gate, because me personally, I'm a firm believer of show your work, then you ask.
Yeah.
Um, but more importantly, when I set out to do this, I never intended to ask people for money. Never.
Mm.
That was
Okay.
never been a thought. It's always because this God placed it in my heart. I fund my own vision. You
Yeah.
know, um, and and so I won't be leaning or disappointed waiting for donations, or
100%.
I won't be leaning on others that say, "Yeah, I donate," and then they'll never do it. So
Okay.
my whole idea is like, man, let me fund my own nonprofit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Let me fund it, and then I'll leave it open for people. I have a donation tab on the website, and for people that want to donate, they can donate at their leisure. And then also part of my website, I'm gonna have where it says, these donations, help, support your parent or your grandparent
Yeah.
that's in hospice. And bro, God already showed me that people they go they go want to donate all the time,
Yeah.
because you're actually going to help somebody that that's in need. So that's where we at, bro.
100%. Well, what I love about what I love about that, because I think we have to be realistic about the fact that there are costs, right? And so it's my and in this particular case it's monetary costs, but
Yeah,
also the I think it's something that we also have to take into consideration is when you're building out the vision and you're taking the baby steps in order to do so. Even allow yourself to look out in the future and see how you're going to continue to operate this, right? Because ultimately, what you're doing is going to be bigger than you, right? So you're not going to just be able to be the only one that's traveling here, there, and everywhere, right? Because particularly as the ministry grows, and if more people want this, right? If more people want it,
yeah,
Another thing that you're going to have to start to think about, okay, is I'm going to have to staff people, right? I'm going to have to bring people on board. Like you said, I'm going to be collaborating with some different people that could either that's with food, a food vendor, or if that is someone, if that's somebody who like you said has the, like the daily bread, the pamphlets, or could do something very special in nuance, if you will, for the families that you're looking to serve. And all of these things are going to come at a cost, but also what I want us to also understand is that I believe that when we give vision, is for us, or excuse, like it's given to us, is gifted to us as stewards of it, but it's for somebody else, right? And so because
Yeah.
of that, we have to also be thinking about, okay, how are we going to be able to, as you talk about too, Wayne, like replace you? You know what I'm saying? Like, what would that look like? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, ultimately, what it would look like to replace me. And now, if that is a non for profit that you're doing, or if it's a business that you have a bit that you have a vision for, like my mentor, shout out to Marcus, man, he said that one of his biggest goals was to fire himself from his business by putting
Yeah. I like that.
the necessary people and systems in place to be able to literally fire himself, where all it, like you have the people and the systems in place that run everything that you need to be run, and basically you could just continue to be the person that says, okay, let's do this, let's do that, let's make this move, let's make that move, and it allows you to kind of stay within the mindset of in your creative space, and you to continue to do what it is that you do best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think I
Yeah.
think I think that's super important as well, because when we talk about counting the cost, we also have I think we also have to factor in, like, at some point in time, maybe not right now, but at some point in time, maybe next year, maybe 5 years from now, you're going to need to maybe collaborate or partner with somebody, or even employ somebody, right? So that's something
Yeah.
that's something to also take into consideration. You also want to think about as well, bro, like with your what you're talking about, like donations, but also with that, like you got to begin to think about, like, yo, how am I going to go about doing that? You know what I'm saying? How am
Yeah.
I going to go about getting donations, right? And what exactly does that look like?
Yeah.
Who it is that we're going to have to who am I going to have to collaborate or have a relationship? Do I have relationships with people? Because that's also something to factor into your budget as well for your vision, is the relationships that you have that you could tap into, right? So I
Yep.
I think
Yep.
all of those things are extremely important as well when we count in the cost, man. And there's a few more that come to mind, but bro, what do you think?
Yeah. So just to add on to that, it's not only counting the cost financially, but the mental toll that it could possibly take. And so it's really forecasting out. It's like, man, okay, what kind of mental capacity should I have for this area? So whatever your area might be, it might be physical therapy, it might be sports, it might be your own law firm. Think about the mental stamina that you'll need, to pursue that. And
Yeah,
so with me, I'm dealing with hospice, so I'm talking to people that are getting ready to transition.
yeah,
So from a mental standpoint, I have to see what that looks like. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I have to talk to people to find out what that looks like. That's part of counting the cost, because there's some sacrifice that has to happen mentally in order for me to be effective in that area. Also, count the cost in regards to time. When we talk about me traveling, if I have to travel to a whole another area, it might be 2 hours there, spend an hour of time there, and 2 hours back.
yeah,
So we're looking at time. That's counting the cost. And so it's really like, from a budget standpoint, you're budgeting finances, but you're also budgeting time, like
yeah,
actual time in your day. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I know now that, okay, I'll be able to do this, on a Sunday, but I'm not able to impact as many,
yeah,
So at some point, Pop, I will have to leave a 9 to 5, because I want this to be where I can go do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday
yeah,
without it taking toll. So now we're looking at, bro, if I'm doing this on Sundays, this is time away from my daughters. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So guys, when you're projecting out your vision, You have to look at finances, of course,
Yep.
but more importantly, you got to look at the time that is taken away, not just from your loved ones, but from yourself.
100%.
And that's part of that. That goes back to that self care, because we can't get so caught up in these visions that we don't have that self care.
Yeah.
You are first. You cannot be effective. You cannot be productive if you're not putting you first. If you're not forecasting, what does this look like? Because what happens is you'll get overwhelmed. You'll get overwhelmed and going, that you forget about yourself. And then you'll crash and burn.
Yep.
We've all been there, guys. And so when you got to think about you, then that second I say is you got to think about the mental toll that this thing will take on you. You know, what does that look like mentally? The planning, the audience that you're impacting or affecting. What does that look like? And then the finances. So that's how I see it, Pop. Those three things I feel are key when counting the cost. It's not just about money, but it's about the mental side, and
Yep.
it's also about you as a person.
You know what, and that's fire that you say that, because oftentimes, and I think when we talked to Ariel, that's what she was saying. Like, a lot of the times you think about counting the cost as just financial, but it's not just financial. It
Mhm.
is counting the cost, as you said, Wayne. Okay, that's time away from your daughters. Also, on top of that, because of the businesses or the ministries or the endeavors um that we participate in, or the scope of the vision that we have, right? We have to there is a self-care element that we have to keep, self-preservation we have to consider. Well,
That's right, bro.
we also have to think about, okay, do we have mechanisms, or do we have people or systems in place that can keep us sane? You know what I'm saying? Because there's going to be times where you're going to be dog tired, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, and all of those things are tied in. Spiritually, all of those things are tied in. So also making sure that you're counting those costs and forecasting that out, right, of the potential of it happening. Because I know, for me personally, when you see the vision, it looks sexy, because in your mind you've seen the end
That's right.
result. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You're seeing the end result.
That's
So
right.
in your mind, this is sexy. You know what I mean? I can't wait to
Yeah.
be able to do X, Y, and Z. But and
Right.
you completely overlook the fact that, hold on, like, but in order for me to get that, that's going to cost me this, and that's going to require me to do that, and this is good. You know what I'm saying? And all of those things don't appear to be as sexy.
No.
Those things are not as exciting. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-mm.
And so I think,
Nope.
bro, and I think that's why it's so important that we're having this conversation, not to deter or discourage.
Yeah. This
Whatever
real.
whatever that vision is, you go for it. Because if God has given you something, be obedient and do what it is that you've been told to do. But understand that there are levels to there's going to be levels, and there's going to be roadblocks, and there's going to be things that we're going to have to consider and forecast out in order to be able to be prepared for those things that are going to happen, and not get discouraged along the road of getting the vision to visibility. And so
Yeah.
go ahead, bro.
And Pop, I was and guys, hear me when I say this. Everything is based upon where you're at in your life, like
Yes.
vision. It's all predicated on where you're at right now. Bro, I have this goal where by 40, because I'm 39 now, by 40, I want to decrease how much I work and increase the rest of my life from not finances, because the money's going to be there, but from a standpoint of I want to have more prosperous friendships. You know what I mean? I want to have I want to have more of a prosperous relationship with my daughters, and I want to be able to have a prosperous relationship with myself. So I'm working on scaling back so long term the vision for hospice can have all of me, instead of me being spread out here in the morning, here in the afternoon, here at night. And so, bro, as I'm forecasting for 40. You see what I'm saying? What does hospice look like at 40? What
Yeah.
does this vision look like at 40? Not right now. I'm a realist at what's going on right now, but I'm thinking like, what do I want to do? How does this line up when I get 40? You see
100%.
what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because bro, I'll be real, man. I'll be honest, bro, because I've been so vision minded, um, I put some dents in some relationships. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I missed out on opportunities. And I'm a realist now to know that in order for me, this hospice thing to truly prosper, bro, I gotta be able to, I gotta adjust.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta adjust now so this thing can be fully impactful because, bro, I gotta give this thing my all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So hospice is gonna be priority, bro. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's gonna be the next priority. And so I'm okay with scaling back on 1 p.m. because he done did what he's done. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
And it's gonna continue. That's residual now. That's recycle. You
Yeah.
know, I can do that in my sleep. But hospice is gonna require me to have. It's gonna require my full attention, bro.
Yeah.
And if my other areas are not right, bro, my daughters ain't good, my friendships ain't good. It's gonna have an impact on that, bro.
100%.
And so, guys, I want to be clear. It's like everything attached to your life has an impact on your vision. I'm gonna
Hmm.
say it again.
Yep.
Everything
Wow.
attached to your life has an impact on your vision.
100%.
So if your friendships ain't prospering, it's gonna have an impact. If your relationship with your kids, your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, if it's not prospering properly, it's gonna have an impact. And bro, I've seen the impact. I've
Mm.
seen the impact. And you know what I'm saying? Not this second go round, buddy.
That's right.
Not this second go round.
That's right.
For real.
That's
For
right.
real.
That's right. No, nah, bro, and no, and you're right, and I think that's what's super important that we understand. And listen, lunches. This is the conversation that you must have with yourself or your community of people. Like this is a conversation that you must have because this is going to be the way that you don't get blindsided by circumstances and situations that are going to arise. They're going to, right? Your the path from vision to visibility is not going to be straight ahead. It's not going to be absent of any obstacles. It's not going to be absent of trials and tribulations and trip ups and fallbacks. It's going to happen. It's going to. But if you're
Yeah.
honest and as and this is why we wanted to have the conversation because we want this to be a conversation that you begin to have, right? If you haven't already, because at least what you can begin to do is allow your mind, because I know for me personally, when I get a vision, like we said, it's super sexy, right? And I just want to live in the sexiness of that vision. I don't even want my mind to even start to think about the possibilities of anything other than this sexy vision that I have. I want to keep it just like
Yeah.
that. But the reality of it is that that's just not reality. Really, that's the
Right, bro.
reality of the
That's right.
situation. That's just not reality. So I
That's
think,
right.
bro, that this is an awesome conversation to be had and begin to take assessment of your relationships. Start to take the assessment of where you are even right now, spiritually, mentally, emotionally.
Yep.
Because if you're a wreck now, when it ain't gonna help. You going you gonna become more of a wreck along this process, and that's going to heighten the ability or heighten the probability, I should say, that you're going to end up not fulfilling this vision. You're going to end up not fulfilling this vision because you're going to stop at some point in time because all of those things that have been left unaddressed and unhealed are going to bubble up at the opportune times You know what I'm saying? To try to knock you off course. And so I think it's also important, bro, to just to interject here. If there's things that you haven't addressed, right? Address those things. If there's, like you said, like Wayne said, I'm so glad that you brought that up, bro. If there's relationships that are not serving you, right? That are not serving you, that's a cost that you're gonna have to factor in, right? If there's a mindset, limiting beliefs that are not serving you, that's a cost. That's that you're gonna have to count that cost, right? If there are if you have found that you have been toxic in relationships with people who ultimately you're going to need to support you at some point in time, or are really rocking with you, if it's your kids, if it's your spouse, if those relationships that really matter aren't solid, that's a cost that you're gonna have to consider. And these are all the things that you're going to want to think about and factor in, because ultimately you want to, what you want to do, bro, and this is what just came to me. You want to minimize the risk of you not fulfilling this vision. So whatever is going to prevent that, those are the things that you need to address right now. Am I right, bro?
No, you're 100%, bro. I mean, you spot on, bro. I'm a live example of, if you don't count that cost properly, it will affect vision. It
Mm.
will affect vision. So lunches, make sure y'all counting this cost, man. Y'all count the cost, please.
Yeah. Count the cost. And so listen, hopefully, prayerfully, that something that was said here really resonated with you. And this is just the start of the conversation that we've had ourselves individually, and that we have together collectively as partners, right? And that we will continue to have, because as I continue to build out my vision, Wayne is going to hold me accountable as he continues to build out his vision. I'm gonna hold him accountable, right? And any resources that we have in each or outside of each other, that could be of benefit, we gonna plug in and say, hey, bro, you should consider this. Hey, bro, you should tap in with this person, and so on and so forth, because that's a part of that building out of the community. And we understand that we need each other to build out these visions, because it's very important. But we want you to continue to spark, we wanted to spark this conversation, and we want you to continue to have this conversation, because it's a very important conversation. And so at this point, we've talked about what the vision is. We talked about how to take the big vision and break it down into smaller parts. We talked about the importance of building in a support system to help you build out your vision. And now we talked about, you got to count the costs of that vision, financially, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. You need to count all the costs that are going to come along with you building out this vision, because at the end of the day, you want to minimize all risk for you not to fulfill the vision that God has given you, right? That you've been called to. Okay. So next week, we're going to be having a very special guest, our brother, Mr. Mario Armstrong, who is a two-time Emmy Award winner of the Never Settle show, right? And he has Never Settle Academy. He is a correspondent for your local news station. You might have even seen him. He's done tech on CBS and on NBC. Like, he is the real deal. And he has a phenomenal story of how he went from vision to visibility, and everything. He's going to be sharing with us all the things that happened in between that, but also he's going to be sharing with us how we can fund this vision, right? He is a specialist in brand sponsorships. He's raised something like $4 million, I believe, in brand sponsorships, or probably more as we speak. So he's going to teach us how the best way to fund our vision, and how we need to start thinking about funding our vision, right? So that is episode that you absolutely positively want to catch, because it's going to be fire, and we gonna learn a lot. Every time we tap in with Mario, he's always dropping gems. So I know that he's gonna bring some amazing value to you. So tell a friend and
Yeah.
tell a friend to pull up to the meetup. And bro, you got any final thoughts before we
No, that's
close
it.
up out of here?
That's it, man. That's it,
Listen.
brother.
All right. So listen. Listen, what I want y'all to do, if you have not already, I need y'all to go ahead and click on the notification. If you haven't clicked on notification, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do. Tell a friend to tap in to the Lunch and Munch. We do this Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the most dangerous virtual lunchroom on the planet. We want to thank you so much for tapping in with us, and we're going to see y'all next week. Peace.
Gone.